Well, if you know what you're seeing right now, then it's fair to say that you have a better idea of what MacGruber is than I did when I went and saw it in theaters, but unlike me, you're going in with a double-edged sword. On one end, you've got the knowledge that MacGruber as a skit is actually pretty funny.
We've got a doozy on our hands, MacGruber. That's over 10 pounds of C4 explosives. This baby's gonna blow in 3 seconds.
We can do this! Jojo, hand me that old bucket filled with bum sperm!
No!
But on the other end, you also have this unconscious expectation of the film being similar to the skit, and you've just set yourself up for one big inevitable disappointment, like pretty much every other SNL fan who's ever gotten excited about one of their favorite skits being turned into a great big blockbuster movie. Just because a skit is popular and funny doesn't mean it's going to instantly become a popular and funny movie like Wayne's World. Lorne Michaels failed to realize this in the 90s, at the start of the new millennium, and seems to have failed to reach this state of enlightenment during his 10-year sabbatical from SNL films. Okay, that's enough of that. I'll place this movie where it belongs at the end. Till then, let's talk about what we're getting for our time and money. For a movie that's already weighed down with the burden of meeting the expectations of the skit, MacGruber himself, for a character who's only slightly more developed than the Butavi brothers, does surprisingly well when he's out of his skit and let loose into the open world of film. He's just kind of like a less stupidly lovable version of Derek Zoolander, only a Derek who's more of an arrogant and ignorant prick, complete with kung fu grip, throat-ripping action, and a stick of celery. The only problem is that in order to make MacGruber like this, they had to sacrifice nearly everything else about this freaking movie. The supporting cast is an example. I mean, they're really unmentionable and their acting just doesn't jump out at all, and their character arcs are even worse. The story's also a problem, but I'm not even going to really mention it, aside from the fact that it starts out as a story with a plot, and eventually just turns into a story that only serves to set up the jokes. I swear to God, there were scenarios that were practically like, uh-oh, MacGruber walked into Banana Cream Pie Factory. The jokes are so set up, they're just one step away from being as set up as the Puppet Pals show.
Puppet Pal friend, I have a dilemma.
What's that, perfect pale bitch?
To bonk or not to bonk? That is the question.
How about not?
Nonetheless, I'll actually concede to this. Some of the jokes are actually quite funny.
Your companion's a very beautiful young woman.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy being date raped, ma'am.
This is my daughter.
And I was actually really surprised that I was laughing more than I thought I ever would when I went and saw this film. I guess that's really why they decided to make it an R-rated movie and not a PG-13. Because they know a PG-13 version of this movie has less than a snowball's chance in hell of actually being funny and doing well. Because if the jokes aren't about a bloody death, the ugly truth about sex, life-threatening situations, or just jokes that come completely out of left field, then they're jokes that aren't funny, and even there's a few jokes that were never funny in the first place. But it's not that terrible of a movie, it's just kind of a pointless movie. Well, now that the actual review is done, let me look back and decide where MacGruber belongs on the tier list of SNL movies. Well, going down from the top tier with Wayne's World, jumping over the Blues Brothers Wayne's World 2 in high tier, skipping mid-tier with A Night at the Roxbury's Blues Brothers 2000, Stewart Saves His Family, and The Ladies' Man. I think it belongs right here in low tier with Coneheads, just above Superstar at bottom tier, and it's Pat in the shit tier where it belongs. So there you go. MacGruber, another funny skit that's been turned into a subpar movie that only breaks the box office record of being the least funded SNL movie in history, with a pathetic $10 million budget. See it if you want to waste your money, go see How to Train Your Dragon if that money's burning a hole in your pocket, or better yet, just save your $10 if you know it's good for you.